I realize shit happens in racing, and I realize engines and stuff can fail. I realize things happen. It's not that it failed, it's that there was no recourse after the fact, right? They're so big that they just don't give a shit, right? So when a customer asks me what kind of warranty does my engine have, I'd love to tell them, well, it has X amount of warranty, and if something happens, we can call and they can take care of it. But in this particular case, what I told my customer? 0. Sorry, man. So now I, the installer, because I'm not a piece of shit, I'm a reputable builder, I am actually going to assist this guy financially to get this car fixed. I'm going to take money out of my own pocket, and I'm going to lose time that I'm not going to get paid for to fix this guy's car to make it right, because I sold him this engine. And even though the manufacturer doesn't want to back up their own product, or at least help us fix the problem, I'm going to do that. So again, this goes back to what kind of company are you dealing with? So we'll talk about warranty in the race engine market and the aftermarket components. Good luck with that. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Battered Mechanic Podcast on the Florida High Performance YouTube channel. Ooh-wee! I'm your host, Eric Bentley. I am the owner of Florida High Performance, and I welcome you all to episode 6, which is going to be a real banger today. But before I get into that, thank you for everybody who supports the podcast and this channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the videos, and of course, comment below. By commenting, that tells me that I'm putting content out there that's worth a shit, that compels you to write something back, whether it's positive, negative, or somewhere in between. And as I've mentioned before, I think we're going to have a future episode where I actually talk about the comments. We'll go through and we'll pick some out and we'll respond publicly. And I think that's really cool interaction. So again, thank you very much for the support. And don't forget, if you don't want to watch me talk on the YouTube channel, you can also listen to the audio version of this podcast on your favorite podcast app. Yeah, pretty cool. So thanks again. And as always, I am supporting Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. I do work for Pompano Beach Fire Rescue, Local 1549, driver engineer. Very proud of my brothers and sisters there at the fire department, and I just want to give them a shout out. Wear the hat. If you've got a hat out there that you want to send me to wear, you maybe own a company and you figure, hey, send this guy a hat, I'll wear it. I'll wear it in the podcast, so long as it's not goofy. It's got to look good, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, send me a hat, I'll wear it. I'll give you a shout out for free. You just got to send me the hat and cover the shipping and handling. All right, guys, enough of that. Let's hop right into episode 6, the great warranty debate. Ooh, warranty. Ooh, the W word, warranty. I hear this word a lot, it gets thrown around. What's your warranty? What's the warranty? I'm going to talk about warranty and how it pertains to the automotive industry, specifically the aftermarket industry that we're in at Florida High Performance. We're going to touch a little bit on OEM warranties, right? So the warranty on your vehicle from the manufacturer, whether it be a domestic, import, whatever. Talk a little bit about dealerships and how they handle warranties. And then I'm going to talk about warranties on the level of where I'm at, which is an aftermarket performance shop that's essentially taking perfectly good working cars and modifying them, changing the way they're engineered or how they work, whatever it is. Warranty, the word warranty, well, I can tell you that's a very gray area. You guys watching this video probably have experienced at some point some sort of good or bad situation where a warranty had to come into play and it either worked in your favor or it didn't. So we're going to touch on all that stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about our warranty at Florida High Performance and how it works. We're also going to talk about sometimes how it doesn't work out so well. I'm actually going to go into some personal stories, some experiences I've had at Florida High Performance with aftermarket manufacturer warranties not following through, not coming through for us. And we're going to sort of clear the air on the warranty thing because I hear it all the time, and it's a tricky one. It's a very gray area, as I said. We all know how I feel about the performance business. It's the Wild West. Well, the warranty is no exception, right? So let's dive right into the great warranty debate, episode 6. It always starts with the expectations. We've talked about expectations on previous episodes. The warranty thing is no different. There's this perception that when you buy something new or you're paying for a service, that if anything goes wrong, it ultimately should fall on the person providing whatever it is that you've paid for. If you buy a new car and it's under warranty, well, if something goes wrong, the OEM should cover it, right? On paper, that makes sense. You're correct. If you buy something, let's say you buy a new pickup truck from GM and it's got a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty in the powertrain or whatever, and something goes wrong in the powertrain, well, in your mind, in the consumer's mind, it's pretty black and white. They should cover it. Well, it's the opposite, sort of, or it's at least not maybe the same on the manufacturer side. Yes, they're offering the warranty, but there's always that little gray area. There's always that little disclaimer. There's always that little, yeah, but, unless it's this or this or this. So the problem with the warranty thing, whether it's through an independent shop or a large manufacturer or whatever it is I think the expectations on the consumer end are completely different than what they are on the person's end who's providing the warranty. And it's not so black and white. And I think that's the problem, is just a disconnect between the two. So we talked about setting customer expectations in episode 4. One of our things that we have in our paperwork that we give to people, our service agreement, there is a warranty in there, a 12-month, 12,000 mile warranty on workmanship, right? Meaning if myself or one of my technicians bolts something onto your engine or puts something on your car, and because of something we did not do correctly, that part fails or it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, within that time period or that mileage period, we will take care of it. This is true. We will. In fact, I will go and say that we'll go beyond that. I can't say that we offer a lifetime warranty. I mean, that's sort of silly, but we stand behind our work. Unfortunately, that same thing cannot be said for some larger businesses. And I'm going to talk more about this as we dive into this, but I call it hiding behind the veil of anonymity. Some companies out there, some corporations, both manufacturers and service providers, are so large that no matter what their warranty policy is, it really doesn't matter. They really don't have to stand behind it, because if you don't like it and you don't ever come back to that place and do business with them, it really doesn't matter. All right, and that's unfortunately the way that things go in this world right now. Whereas a smaller business like mine, it absolutely matters, and I can't get away with that same thing. Could you imagine, right? I offer a 12-month, 12,000 mile workmanship warranty, and within that time frame, something goes wrong, and I essentially tell the customer, sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. That's not going to be a good look. That's not going to go very well. They're not going to just say, oh, okay. Right? I can't get away with that murder, so to speak, right? Whereas these larger companies can, and sometimes they do. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But ultimately, it comes down to expectations, and that's why I think where the disconnect is between the consumer and the service provider or the manufacturer. No matter what is in writing, it's ultimately up to the installer and what kind of business they run, or it's ultimately up to the manufacturer and what kind of business they run. So if you want to talk about warranty and what kind of protection you have as a consumer, you've got to really go all the way up the chain to the owner of the business, right? Or the founders of the company. What kind of company is it? Is it a service-based business that goes above and beyond no matter what? Is it a company who's, all about the bottom line and really doesn't give a shit about negative review here and there, or if you're not happy with their stuff? There are some owners out there and there are some corporations out there really could give a rat's ass about taking care of everybody. Geico, I think it is, right? 99% success rate or 99% satisfaction. Right? It's not 100. They're publicly admitting that not everybody is going to be happy with their service, and they're perfectly fine with that, and they're actually putting that into the public. Think about that for a second. Could you imagine that you call Florida High Performance and I say 8 out of 10 people like our service. The other 2 people, they can go hit the road. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if I ran my business that way? An 80% success rate or a 90% satisfaction rate? Nobody would come to Florida High Performance. Seriously. But these larger companies can get away with it, right? So first thing when it comes to warranty is who you're dealing with, what kind of business is it, how large are they, and what their philosophy is on customer service and how far they're willing to go to actually take care of the client. Let's talk about General Motors, right? I'm in the GM business. I work on late model GM cars. They've had a mess of problems for years. Let's talk about the 8L90 transmissions, the 8-speed automatic transmissions that are found in the Vettes and the Camaros and late model trucks and stuff like that. Absolute turd. Everybody knows it. They know it. We know it. The transmission's junk. The converter's junk. The shutters, the disc slips inside the converter. It's an absolute pile of crap. There's actually class action lawsuits. People are expecting these things to be warranted, and they're bringing their vehicles into the dealership, and the dealership's not really sure how to handle the situation, and they're not sure how to handle the situation with GM. And anyway, the bottom line is General Motors put out a dog shit transmission and multiple vehicle platforms. They knew that it was crap, and instead of just covering it under their warranty and replacing it, oftentimes they would try to get around that. They'll top off the fluid, or they'll reflash the TCM, or they wouldn't just replace the unit. That was like the last thing they would do. So again, the consumer has this understanding and this expectation of, well, I bought this new vehicle. It has this powertrain warranty. Why isn't this just being replaced? That's because warranty is a bunch of bullshit. That's why. Because at the end of the day, GM doesn't want to pay, right? They don't want to lose money. And it ultimately just comes down to money. Well, General Motors can sort of get away with that, right? They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They make so much money that kind of whatever, and even if there's a class action lawsuit or a recall or whatever, sort of whatever, they kind of put it back on the client to follow up on that and bring the vehicle in. And so, this whole warranty, this whole notion of you've got a warranty, well, that's only as good as the company that's providing it. And it doesn't even matter if it's in writing, right? So I said, no matter if what's in writing, it's ultimately up to the install shop, or in this case, the dealership or the manufacturer to actually back it up. I get a question all the time when people call Florida High Performance. They say, will this void my warranty? Will the work that you're doing void my factory warranty? My answer to them is possibly, potentially, probably, maybe, but I'm not the end all be all to answer that question. It depends. If I put a set of headers in your car and the wheel bearing goes bad, does that void the wheel bearing warranty? Well, no, but it might. So what I always tell people is you got to refer to your service advisor. You got to go to the dealership and actually talk to the guy you're going to talk to if you do have an issue with warranty, and tell him, hey, I want to put a set of long tube headers on my Camaro. How's it going to affect my warranty? Most of these numbskulls at the dealership, to be honest with you, because they're not going to want to deal with your BS and they're busy, they're going to tell you, yes, it's going to void your warranty. When in fact it shouldn't, and that's absolute bull. That's absolute bullshit. It's just an easy way for them to cover their ass. It's an easy way for them to not have to deal with your shit. And, here we go again. Oh, I have a warranty. Yeah, but you really don't, right? It all comes down to who you're dealing with and if they're going to help you out or not. So I tell people, yes, for the most part, because it makes sense. If we're going to make do an aftermarket modification in your car, it's probably going to void your warranty. So it's better to err on the side of just telling the person, yes, it probably will, than to give them some crazy bullshit answer. And that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes. So I can also tell you that most dealerships and extended warranties and stuff like that are shit too. They don't cover anything. And in fact, I've talked about this often with my customers. These aftermarket warranty companies, Auto Shield, I think there's a Car Shield or whatever. You got Ice-T on there talking about, Car Shield to cover my car, baby. Bullshit. I had a customer, the 2013 ZL1, completely grenaded the motor. When I tell you this car was completely bone stock, it was a completely stock 2013 ZL1, right down to the airbox, okay? Completely stock. He bought the car, he was driving it around. I don't know what happened, it doesn't really matter. The bottom end let go, it threw a rod out the side of the block. It was completely foobarred. He had one of these like Car Shield things or whatever, these extended warranties that he bought for like $3,300 when he bought the car. So he figured, well, hell, I'll just, I'll send the car to Florida High Performance. He gave me all their information, the policy information. I call the policyholder, I call the company, and I'm like, look, you got a stock car here that failed. Dude, it was like a 4-month process. They sent all these investigators out. They sent all these adjusters out. It was such a process, right? It was such a such a hassle for this guy. Ultimately, he wound up paying out of pocket. They didn't cover shit. He wound up getting his money back on the original purchase price of the warranty. But like, here we go again. The guy thinks he has an extended warranty in the ZL1 that he bought, when in fact the coverage is shit. He figured it out after the fact. And yes, they gave him his money back, but think about all the people out there who sort of just give up, right? So it's not that they're not willing to cover it, but they put the customers through such a ringer, and they make it so complicated and so difficult for them to actually get money back to repair the car. Most people, the average working man or woman out there, is going to give up on it, and they're going to say, screw it, I'll just pay for it. You know, that's what they're betting on. So here we go again. You know, there's the warranty debate. I'm telling you right now, most warranties out there are shit. They're bullshit. And they're backed by nothing other than, you know, whatever. So buyer beware. And that's an actual situation that happened at Florida High Performance. He wound up paying out of pocket. We helped him out. We got the car back on the road. Guy's super happy. But, you know, we spent 4 months just going back and forth with this Auto Shield or whoever it was, and it was a mess. And so I tell people from now on, those extended warranties are usually shit. I talk about the veil of anonymity, the sheer size. Some of these manufacturers are so big that they just don't care, right? They're willing to lose some customers along the way in the name of the bottom line. And yeah, they might have a warranty, some sort of basic guarantee or something like that. But at the end of the day, if they lose you as a customer because they don't back up their product, they don't really care. That's unfortunate. That's sort of the way big business is nowadays. Corporate America has gotten that way. It's greed. You know, people just don't give a shit anymore about the little guy. And, you know, so buyer beware there. Just know that sometimes these companies are so big, they just don't care about you. We run into that problem sometimes with some of our manufacturers, and I'm not going to name names. It doesn't matter. All right. I'm not going to throw people under the bus here. I'm professional, but I will tell you, we've had issues where very expensive products either didn't work or didn't fit. We're trying to install said product and it's just not built correctly. The jig is wrong, the hole's in the wrong spot, whatever the case is. Meanwhile, the car's on my lift, right? We're on the clock. I have bills to pay on Friday. I got payroll to pay on Friday. We got other cars backing up. I call the manufacturer, and the manufacturer says, oh, gee, sorry. We've never had that problem. I'm always the first to. I'm the Lois and Clark of the automotive business. I'm a pioneer. I'm like the first man on the moon with this shit. Like, you never had this problem before. I highly doubt that, but I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I've been the first for everything. And some companies handle it pretty well. Some kind of get on it right away and try to do what they can. For the most part, most of the companies are just sort of like, all right, send the product back. We'll have to take a look and see what happened. And we'll go from there. Meanwhile, I'm losing, right? The installer ultimately is losing in the end. The customer's losing in the end. And then, you know, you come down to this warranty thing. Well, what does the warranty cover? Does it cover my lost time? You know, if the product doesn't fit, even if they replace it, who's paying for that? What about all the time I just lost? They're not going to pay for that. Some companies do, but it's very rare. So again, you know, these warranties and these guarantees, what do they mean? You know, what do they cover? Nothing really, usually. I can say Cook's headers, Cook's exhaust. I'm a very, very big Cook's guy right now for one reason, to be honest with you. I bought a Corvette header and X-pipe system from them, and they actually called me and said, hey, we realized that a batch of X-pipes went out with the wrong inside diameter in one of the pipes. We believe that you have one of those defective kits. We are sending you another kit overnight, and you can discard the one that you have. I didn't have to call them. I didn't have to figure that out until the stuff was, you know, the car was on the lift and we're in the middle of the job. They preemptively called me. I was very impressed by that. That is very, very rare nowadays. Most manufacturers are going to ship the stuff out and they're going to hope for the best and hope you don't call. And if you do call, then maybe they'll deal with it or not. But I will say Cook's exhaust guys, North Carolina, man, on top of their game. So, you know, that's why I sell a lot of their product now. You know, if there is an issue, they take care of it right away. So there's not a lot of downtime. So customers call me and ask me what kind of warranty these products carry. Sometimes good ones, sometimes bad. Let's talk about engines. Race engines are a big one, right? Again, not naming names, but I had a sleeved 427 in a newer Cadillac CTS-V, right? So this was a stock LT4 engine block. We had it sleeved, meaning they cut the stock sleeve out. They pressed in an aftermarket sleeve, a Darton sleeve. Well, halfway through the dyno tuning in this car, we had an issue behind one of the sleeves with the water jacket. The factory block and the casting in that area was super thin and it failed. And it ultimately led to an issue with the head gasket on that side of the motor. So I call the guys who built the engine, and their response was, sorry, dude, nothing I can do for you. Nothing you can do for me? You got a $9,800 short block here. There's nothing you can do for me. Customer's pissed. I've got an engine that I got to pull out of the car. God knows how long that's going to take. Again, I'd love to name who it was, but I won't. You DM me, I'll tell you who it was. I can tell you I don't carry any of their products anymore. I can tell you with certainty that I will never sell another one of their items again to anybody, which is a shame. Pretty big company out there. Pretty big company, but they're not going to get my business. I realize shit happens in racing, and I realize engines and stuff can fail. I realize things happen. It's not that it failed. It's that there was no recourse after the fact, right? They're so big that they just don't give a shit. All right. So when a customer asks me what kind of warranty does my engine have, I'd love to tell them, well, it has X amount of warranty, and if something happens, we can call and they can take care of it. But in this particular case, what I told my customer? 0. Sorry, man. So now I, the installer, because I'm not a piece of shit, I'm a reputable builder, I am actually going to assist this guy financially to get this car fixed. I'm going to take money out of my own pocket, and I'm going to lose time that I'm not going to get paid for to fix this guy's car to make it right, because I sold him this engine. And even though the manufacturer doesn't want to back up their own product or at least help us fix the problem, I'm going to do that. So again, this goes back to what kind of company are you dealing with? So we'll talk about warranty in the race engine market and the aftermarket components. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. They're going to, it's for racing. There's no warranty. We don't, and as a consumer, you guys got to understand that even though you spent $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on a build, sometimes if it blows up the next day, it's on you. So hopefully you're dealing with a shop like us that actually gives a shit and wants to help you out and is empathetic towards that situation. So, but if I do that for everybody that has a problem, I'll go out of business. So, herein lies the issue. So yeah, cracked block, header's not fitting correctly. Goes back to what I've said before. These aftermarket warranties are shit. Most of them are shit. There's nothing behind it. It's all a facade to get your business. And then when there's an actual problem, you're kind of left high and dry. So that's the reality of this business, guys. A lot of gray area. And as I said before, ultimately it always either falls on the install shop, which is unfortunate, or it falls on the consumer, right? The install shop sort of passes along the loss or the cost or whatever it is to the consumer. And then that's a whole problem in itself. Now it's consumer versus shop, right? Who's wrong, who's right? If I sell you a product that I didn't make and it fails, is that on me as the installer? Is that on the consumer? Is that on the manufacturer? Very gray area. And again, I've heard horror stories of customers just getting screwed. No recourse, no solution, no nothing. Having to pay 2 or 3 times to fix something. It's unfortunate. But what's really unfortunate and what it comes down to is these goddamn manufacturers that are just so big and just so busy putting out mediocre products that they just don't give a shit and they get away with it. I always say they get away with murder. I can't get away with murder. My small business, my small shop, we would be closed if I did and pulled some of the shit that these larger manufacturers do. And that's a fact. You can ask any shop owner and you can take this to the bank, talk to your buddies about it. I promise they're going to tell you the same thing, right? At the end of the day, it all falls on the install shop or it falls on the consumer. And these bigger companies are getting away with it. And it's a shame. And shame on them, right? So, moral of the story, at the end of the day, guys, to conclude this episode, that all being said, okay, despite all that, what I just said, shit happens. There's a shit happens factor in this business that is there. It never goes away. It doesn't matter who the manufacturer is. It doesn't matter who the shop is that's installing your parts. Hell, it doesn't matter if you're installing the parts, right? If you're a do-it-yourselfer and you're putting a product on in your garage, shit happens. If you have an inclination as a consumer that this is a all hunky-dory, rosy, perfect rainbows and sprinkle kind of business, you're dead wrong. Things happen. Things go wrong. Things break. You have to have a certain cushion. You have to have a certain understanding of that long before you ever get into this hobby, into this profession, this sport. And no matter who you're dealing with, no matter how good the products are, shit happens. Remember the shit happens factor. Okay. And if you embrace the shit happens factor and you accept the fact that it can happen. If it does, if and when it comes, it sort of takes the sting off of it a little bit. So, in conclusion, guys, I think warranties are fucking shit. Not to say that every company out there is bad. There's some great companies out there who stand behind their products, but for the most part, the warranty thing is played out. It's a huge gray area. It's on a customer by customer basis. I've had large companies that just draw this thing out to the point where the consumer just quits and gives up and pays out of pocket. It's a big game. There's really not a lot of warranties out there that I trust. Our warranty is pretty straightforward, but even our warranty sometimes, it depends on the consumer. It depends on the car. It depends on what they were doing with the car and the type of build it is. So there's some gray area there, unfortunately, even through us. But I can tell you that I stand behind our work, right? So if you're dealing with a reputable shop, no matter what the warranty is, they should help you out. Yeah, the warranty thing, man, it really grinds my gears. So I hope that shed some light, guys, on the warranty aspect of this business and how crazy it can be. No matter what, as I always say at the end of every episode, no matter what the situation is, right, it's never easy. It's always hard. And that also goes for the warranty stuff. Even if you have a warranty, it's never easy. It's always hard. It's always going to be a pain in the ass. And don't you ever forget it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it exposed and shed some light on the warranty ups and downs. And as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Let me know if you've got any warranty blunders or some crazy stories you'd like to share. I'd love to see it. I'd love to hear from you. Guys, as always, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next episode of The Battered Mechanic. I'm out. Thank you.